Hello, good afternoon to you and welcome to Beina Midday News. This news is coming to you live from the House, Atomic Junction, Medina. My name is Sherifatu Ayuba. Coming up this afternoon, Oforiatta sues OSP again over wanted person tag. Doctors at Kath suspend all surgical cases following water crisis, and Sudan's Sovereign Council declares Khartoum free after expelling RSF. Details of the stories comes up shortly. And thank you for staying with us. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Beina TV. Now, the news in details. Doctors at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital in Kumasi have announced the suspension of all surgical cases with immediate effect due to a water shortage that has hit the hospital since last week. In a memo dated March 25th, 2025, the Komfo-Anokye Doctors Association informed management that action is in the best interest of patient safety and security. According to the association, the directorate is faced with severe challenges due to an ongoing water shortage. This, the doctors say, has significantly affected the provision of essential healthcare services. It's noted that though water is a critical resource in maintaining hygiene, conducting surgical procedures, and ensuring patient care and safety, the resource is in short supply at the facility, compromising patient care in general. Chairman of the Komfo-Anokye Doctors Association, Dr. Michael Leeds, who apologized on behalf of his colleagues over the impact of their actions, said the association will continue to attend to existing cases. The association, however, called for alternative water sourcing options while receiving regular updates on the water situation. Meanwhile, management of Kath explains that the Ghana Water Company Limited is yet to restore water supply to the hospital since the curtailment of service last week. And 40 ex-public sector employees have taken legal action against the government. The aggrieved group is accusing it of wrongful and politically motivated terminations. The workers hired in 2024 claim their dismissal breached constitutional rights and due process.
The firings followed a February 10, 2025 directive from Chief of Staff Julius Deborah instructing public institutions to nullify appointments made after December 7, 2025, the date of Ghana's presidential and parliamentary elections. The government defended the move as necessary to ensure good governance, alleging that last-minute appointments under the former MPP administration were improper. Represented by Dami and Partners, a law firm associated with ex-Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dami, the plaintiffs are suing the Attorney General and 6 state agencies: the Ghana Revenue Authority, National Lottery Authority, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, Ghana Shippers Council, and National Health Insurance Authority. The workers argue that neither the President nor the Chief of Staff has the constitutional power to dismiss public servants outside the conditions specified in Article 191B. They seek a court declaration that their determinations were illegal, the nullification of the Chief of Staff's directive, reinstatement and compensation for undue hardship. They also demand an injunction against further politically driven civil service purges. Many affected employees say they underwent strict hiring processes, including tests and interviews, before securing their roles. Some insist they were employed before December 7th, but were still dismissed under the directive.
Away from that, former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has filed another legal action against the Office of the Special Prosecutor, seeking a court order to prevent the Anti-Corruption Agency from labeling him as a wanted person or a fugitive from justice. In a motion filed by his legal team, Ofori-Atta argues that the OSP has violated principles of administrative justice by continuing to display his photograph and details on its official Facebook page and other platforms. This, he claims, contradicts assurances given in a letter dated February 18, 2025.
Ofori-Atta's lawsuit demands the immediate removal of his name from the list of wanted persons and a court order preventing the OSP from reinstating it without judicial approval. The former finance minister is also seeking an interlocutory injunction to bar the OSP from issuing further press releases or media statements that declare him a fugitive. Additionally, he is requesting a mandatory order compelling the agency to erase all references to him as a wanted individual. His legal team maintains that these actions violate his fundamental human rights, including his freedom of movement, personal liberty, and right to administrative justice as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. The case is said to be heard in April 2025. If granted, the injunction would prevent the special prosecutor from making any further public declarations against Ofori-Atta until the court delivers a final verdict. The legal challenge marks a significant escalation in the disputes between Ofori-Atta and the OSP as the former minister moves to clear his name and resist what he describes as an unjust designation by the anti-corruption body.
And President John Mahama has dismissed perceptions that the NDC and his government hold animosity towards the judiciary, emphasizing that his government respects the judicial system. Speaking after a visit from the Ghana Bar Association, he said his administration is committed to working hand in hand with the judiciary. He also directed state investigative bodies to actively pursue unresolved high-profile cases such as the murder of Ahmed Swale and the killing of J.B. Dankwa Edu in order to bring closure.
We are committed to the protection of human rights and investigation of significant killings or murders that have remained uninvestigated. And so I've urged the police and the investigative organizations to look more actively in cases like Ahmed Swale, and that is how come a first suspect has been arrested. We are hoping that his interrogation will lead to further arrests of people. There are several other cases like the J.B. Dankwa murder case, and we're asking that it be expedited in terms of the prosecution that is taking place and for investigations to be carried out to find out if any other persons were involved in some of those. And so those are ongoing, and then we also have the issue I thought I should raise of the judiciary and the perception of the judiciary. I believe that it is not anecdotal. I mean, several surveys asking Ghanaians, what their opinion of the judiciary is have not come out positively. And I believe that it is a duty for all of us to work to make sure that we have a judiciary that is respected. Year in, year out, you hear 12 billion cedis misappropriated, 15 billion cedis misappropriated. And how we deal with these cases are very difficult because of the constitutional procedure, parliamentary accounts committee and all that. But after that has happened, we must have a fast-track court where we're able to deal with this so that we deter people from just misusing government funds like that. Government is open to working with you, particularly on our side of the political divide. There's this perception that we have a problem with the legal fraternity and things like that. I think that if you look at the kind of people, Marietta and all of us sitting here, we're not people who have any such animosity towards the judiciary and the legal fraternity. So our doors are open, our hands are open, and if you think that there's anything that you should bring to our attention, don't hesitate at all.
Meanwhile, victims of a Dumpizi market fire in Kumasi have turned down food donations from Interior Minister and Aswasi MP Mohammed Mubarak Mutaka, expressing frustration over the lack of practical assistance. The fire, which occurred on March 21st, destroyed numerous shops and livelihoods, leaving traders desperate for meaningful support to rebuild.
Muntaka visited the scene with a truckload of supplies, including 1,500 bags of rice and 8,000 boxes of cooking oil. However, the victims rejected the items, stating that food aid was not what they needed at this critical time. In a video circulating online, traders were seen jeering at the minister and his team, demanding efforts to restore the affected area instead. The victims emphasized their primary need for the government to rebuild the market and ensure their businesses can recover. They also expressed concerns about potential eviction from the land, urging authorities to prioritize their plight. Muntaka, while confident in his approach, called for practical measures to address the recurring issue of market fires, which he noted have significant economic implications for the country. He pledged to support the victims in getting back on their feet.
The Member of Parliament for Okaikwe Central, Patrick Yawoma, says the minority will not be disruptive to government business in Parliament. His comments come after Parliament through a consensus report repealed to the electronic transfer levy, also known as e-levy. Speaking to Bena News, the lawmaker described the process leading to the repeal as smooth, indicating that the minority's cooperation to implementing government policies.
Just coming from the chamber where we've supported government to repeal the electronic communication tax, which was part of the economic and financial policy of government. We also supported, through a consensus report, the passage of the income tax amendment bill, subject to the president's assent to it. Then we also repeal the emissions levy, amongst other tax policies that the minister is on the floor going through with colleagues. So I believe that it was a smooth process, a consensus report, and like we've already said, we as a minority who will support government policy, will not be disruptive, but will raise those issues. Fact is that we as a party during our campaign also promised to abolish some of these taxes. So if Ghanaians have given the NDC the opportunity to rule and they've brought it, we must support it as family, because we would have also needed their support in the repeal of some of these legislations. And we pray that whatever income that government seeks to generate from other sources to bridge the gap, we live to see, and we wish government well.
The move abolishes the contentious tax on electronic financial transactions, which was initially set at 1.75% before being revised to 1%. The repeal is expected to encourage digital transactions, reduce inflation, and boost economic activity. However, it may result in a 1.946 billion cedis revenue loss for the 2025 fiscal year. Moving on to other stories, the Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Ampem has revealed that President John Mahama is expected to assent to the electronic transfer levy repeal bill by Wednesday, April 2, 2025. Speaking in an interview with the media on Wednesday, March 26th, Mr. Ampem explained that while Parliament has already passed the bill, it has yet to be transmitted to the President for his signature. According to the Deputy Finance Minister, once the President assents to the bill, the Finance Ministry will immediately direct the Ghana Revenue Authority to halt the collection of the e-levy. Mr. Ampem further noted that the GRA is already prepared for the transition and implementation will take place swiftly after President Mahama's approval. The repeal of the e-levy has been widely welcomed by Ghanaians who strongly opposed the tax. The levy, which was introduced in 2022 by the previous New Patriotic Party administration, imposed a 1.5% tax on electronic transactions, including mobile money transfers, bank transfers, and online payment. Commenting further about the timeline of the e-levy's full repeal, Mr. Ampem expressed confidence that it will take effect even before Friday, April 4. And on the international front, the Sudan's Sovereign Council on Wednesday declared Khartoum free after expelling the Rapid Support Force from the capital. The Sudanese army has in recent weeks extended its military operation successfully, recapturing the presidential palace and the most recent retaking the airport in Khartoum from the RSF. According to multiple reports from Khartoum residents, the RSF fighters were replaced by the army across the city center on Wednesday, marking a major milestone for the national army in the fight that has split the country since it began 2 years ago. The war broke out when the military and the RSF turned against each other in struggle for power. Their battles around Khartoum left the RSF in control of the airport, the presidential palace, and other neighborhoods as the fighting spread around the country. Seizing the capital doesn't end the conflict, as the RSF still controls parts of the western Darfur region and other areas. And in sports, Black Stars forward Antoine Semenyo says it's always an honor to get called up to represent the national team. According to him, he's privileged to play for Ghana, revealing that the only time he will fail to honor an invitation is when he is injured.
Semenyo was one of Ghana's goal scorers during the recent international break, scoring in the 5-0 win over Chad in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Bournemouth starman has made 27 appearances for the Black Stars and says it's something he doesn't take for granted. He described the opportunity to represent Ghana as an honor, adding that only injury will prevent him from making himself available. He disclosed that playing for the Black Stars was his childhood dream. After his third goal across all competitions for Ghana, Semenyo will look to find his scoring boots once again for the Cherries when club football resumes this weekend, with Bournemouth facing Manchester City in the FA Cup.
And that is how we bring the bulletin to an end. Our website, bainamultimedia.com, has more news. My name is Sherifatu Ayuba. Have a good afternoon.